Y'all know what time it is, man. It's time for Unc and Few Hoops edition, man. We coming with to you with another one. When you thought we never have another one, but we here, we clear, we doing it right, the right way. Talk to him, Unc. Talk to him.
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on, everybody?
Yes,
Chilling.
sir. I appreciate y'all for coming in here, man. First thing before you even get in here in the building, wipe your feet on the floor with liking the stream, man. I'm gonna like the stream. I'm watching myself live. F it. You know what I mean? If you guys are watching the replay, smash the like button on the replay. I put a little goal. I put a little super chat goal, meaning we have a goal. Let's have 5 super chats. Let's start off with one. Let's have a super chat goal, man. That super chat helps us keep going, promotes us, a little support for everybody who's watching. If you're watching the replay, you can also send in a little donation if you feel like it. We really appreciate that more than y'all know, man. You know what I mean? Any kind of support, smash that like button. Those are free. Best way to support us and what we doing. Appreciate y'all more than you know, man. And you know what? Unc,
What's up? What's
I
up?
gotta start this off. I gotta talk about your bestie. Not Draymond. I'm gonna talk to you about your other bestie, the guy who just won MVP. SG, you're pissed. I can already feel it, dog. Talk to him.
I was thinking about that when I heard it, and I was like,
Mm.
does he really deserve it? And then I was
Oh,
like, I kind of like took my bias out, and I was like, you know what? What he means to the team is
mm.
is the same reason why he made first NBA All Team, right?
Yes, sir.
As much as we criticize him for being a foul merchant, um, that's the style of play it is, but what he means to the team is completely is too much to avoid. You can say,
I will.
Joker.
Well,
Sorry, you can say Joker is should have won it, but the Nuggets haven't been playing. I don't think as good as OKC have.
mm.
So
Is
that's
this is what you were talking about, bruh? Because you know what? As much for me, I'm not a big SGA guy, but I don't like this. Look at
yeah.
that. This is me and Unc, me and Hefe. We talk like every day. We be sending memes to each other, ball stuff. Unc has sent me maybe 7 edits of SGA flopping. Just 1 week alone, bruh. This 1 week alone, every day, homie is
Oh
sending me
no, he
another
just tripped.
edit.
That's the right call there.
And ultimately, this is one of the reasons a lot of people are mad at SGA. People get in the chat. Do y'all think SGA deserved it over Nikola Jokic? And here's the argument for Jokic. Jokic had a better MVP season
Mhm.
than all his 3 other MVPs. Unc,
Yeah,
look at these stats, brother. Look at these
it's
stats throughout
crazy.
the season,
Yeah, triple
right?
double. That's crazy,
Right.
right? But it's not just about the stats. Popularity obviously takes point on it as well. But like I said,
Mhm.
Nuggets have been the champions, right? But
Right.
their play has been like flatlined. So I
Right.
think that's what pushed SGA over is that he's now their OKC's now dominating and he's their
Yes.
main guy. So
Right.
that to me was what made the difference. But yeah, I'm no fan of Shea either. But like it's just too much flopping for me. It's like this is, I'm talking like '90s ball where you can get clotheslined and nothing happens. So yeah.
Man, let me tell you this, bro. I have NBA, like I'm on NBA Twitter crazy, right?
Mhm.
They make whole edits of SGA. They hate SGA, bro. They hate him so much. And I get it. I kind of get it. He is a flop. He does flop. Like I'm not
It does, yeah.
like let's not even play games here. We know what time it is. But do you
Like that,
think
like that's
it's
not a
partially
foul.
the
That's not a foul.
yeah?
Come
Do you think it's the rules, or do you think he just naturally is weak like that? What do you think, bro?
on. He's taken full advantage of the rules. Full advantage of the rules, and that
Mm,
as much as I want to say it's a smart play, it's just frustrating to watch. Like even the guys that I talk to that are casual watchers of the NBA, They just
Right.
can't stand it. Like it's crazy, but it's one thing to be like, okay, a hard foul. It's another thing to step into the person, right? And I thought they had cured that, but apparently not. But look at Greek Freak. He gets some
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
hard fouls, but it is what it is with that. But I don't know. To me, I don't like that part of the game, but that seems to be a good chunk of his game because he knows he can get it done. He knows he's going to get those calls, and it's just frustrating to watch. That's all.
So here's my little argument against that slightly. Okay? There's stats that show. By the way, people get in the chat. Let me know if y'all agree. Y'all on Unc's side where Unc is saying, nah, it's too much. He doesn't rock with it. You know what I mean? Or you're on my side where for me, I must give you a little more nuance to the conversation a little bit. These are the stats for NBA MVP and free throw attempts. In other words, how many attempts that they were given, right? Even though they were MVP. You look at the damn top, even the top 10, SGA isn't there. You have to go all the way down here to 27 for free throw attempts per game. So if you look at just the history of the NBA, SGA actually does not take a lot of free throw attempts. Now, here's the other point. This playoffs, especially against Minnesota and the last few games versus Denver, it was a lot. I'm not gonna cap. It was a lot in the short time frame. And the difference is people are watching him a lot more, right? So you have more eyeballs on him, right? But you look at history of ball, man. Well, Joel Embiid is up there. We know Joel Embiid is up there.
Yeah, 100%.
But bro, all the way down here for SGA, I kind of salute it. That's why I think the narrative is a bit overblown for the past two games. Unc, any
Mm.
thoughts? Any thoughts about that, or what do you think?
No, no, it makes sense, right? It's just
Mm,
I think it's how he's drawing the fouls. It
okay,
slows down the
yeah,
game. Like I said,
right,
I think Giannis averages, or at least averaged this year, more free throw attempts than SGA did.
yeah,
But he's
that's for
going
sure.
to the rim. He's getting hard fouls, as where SGA is just like I said. He's running into those fouls, right?
Right.
It's like watching Angel Reese get her own rebounds. It's it's
Oh,
just it's just ugly to watch, you know?
you got into it, bruh. I was thinking about putting WNBA in the topic list, but bruh, you done did it. You done did it. This is something we can both agree on, brother. Where I'm trying to find the video, but it was
He,
embarrassing, man. Like, I'm like, what are we doing, bruh? Like, what are we doing?
yeah,
Let's
I
look at
don't
this.
I,
Look at
I don't
this.
know
Look at
where
this.
her attitude gets saying that she's like best in the league. That's
Like,
nonsense.
what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Fam, you know
Crazy.
what? I'm not a hater, but like, what Caitlin Clark is clearly dominating this entire league, man.
Yeah.
I think Caitlin Clark actually has MVP odds. You know what I mean? I think
Oh yeah.
she might win MVP. But Angel Reese, this is the video. Excuse me, this is the video right here. My bad. One board. Okay, where's this going? Okay, second board. What? Okay, take it out. Oh, it's blocked. What?
Block.
Oh,
Block.
blocked again. But brother, do you see how many people are open? Do you see how
It's
many
her
people are
entire
open?
team.
Look,
All
look, look, look.
four.
You take okay.
Uh,
Look at the edge. What the hell? Let's go.
Yeah.
What the hell? What the hell? Like, what are we
Look at the
doing
like,
here, girl? Man. And
right?
and what do you think? I guess let's call this a WNBA corner, bro. What do you
Yeah.
what are your thoughts, my G?
It's
Jeez.
horrendous. Like it's
Yeah, bro.
again, I'm not knocking the girl for not being able to play, but to say that this is peak basketball is just
No,
insanity. Come on, like
no,
let's be
no,
honest.
yeah.
Once the girls start learning, like Caitlyn has changed the WNBA. There's no you can't argue. There's no argument on that. She's
I
changed
agree,
it.
yeah.
She's brought awareness to it. And
Mm-hmm.
Angel Reese, the only awareness she's brought in is to herself. So, like, let's be honest
Yeah.
about that. But like in a couple of years, when you start getting these younger girls that are in high school right now, going to college and playing like
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin Clark, it's gonna be a super exciting. Like, I think it's gonna be a better league to watch, right?
Yeah.
NBA finishes up, you can watch a couple games of the WNBA. It won't be as one-sided, I want to say, as it has been in the
Right.
past, where it's just the skill level isn't there as the or the NBA is, but
Mm-hmm.
eventually it may catch up. So, but only time
Right.
will tell.
Like just look at this play, man. I think it's the end of quarter. That's 30 feet, man. That's an
Okay.
NBA three. That's
Yeah.
an NBA three because the women's game, their 3 points are a little in front, right?
Hmm.
But that's an NBA 300%. And she did it mid form, like perfect. A perfect pull up, dribble, a little step back, boom, at the buzzer.
It's
That's
money.
exciting
Yeah.
basketball, brother. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And the way she plays is it's exciting, man. It's great to watch. I do tune into some Indiana Fever games here and there. She had a controversial no call, I think, about 2 days ago. But you have mainstream sports people talking about Indiana Fever games, and even me. Sometimes I watch this one. She's there's the center for I believe the Las Vegas Aces. Her name is Asia Wilson. She is dominant, brother. Like I'll show you some of her stats. She leads her team in almost every. She's like Jokic. She leads
Yeah.
her team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks.
Steals,
Asia
huh?
Wilson, very, very good ball player. Their team just recently lost, but
Hmm.
her, Caitlin Clark, a few others. My thing about Angel Reese is like, Angel, you're great at rebounding, okay, but let's get better than that, man. You don't want to be Dennis Rodman. You want to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna say you don't want to be Draymond, and I was about to log off.
I mean, she was pulling. You remember that first game? She was pulling up on Caitlyn. She was about to, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Hmm. Hmm.
damn. And that's the
That's
question.
crazy.
Do you think she hates Caitlyn? Do you think it's like a real beef? Or like, what do you think, bro?
I don't think it's like hate. It's more. I
Yeah.
think it's more resent, right?
Okay.
Because like Angel's ego, and it's ego comes down to a lot of things, I think. But Angel's
Right.
ego won't allow her to let Caitlyn be a star. She's like, no, the attention should be on me. Like
Mm.
I beat her. She won the first meeting between them in college, right?
Right. It
Was it
was
LSU?
LSU versus
LSU,
Indiana.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think that made her, oh, I'm better than you. But no,
Right.
obviously not. So
Yeah.
and then they went, and then Caitlyn won the second meeting, but like they played well together in the All Star game. I
They
think it
did.
was
Actually, I
just
did
yeah,
watch them play. Yeah.
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 So I don't think it's a hate thing. I think it's more resentfulness that like she thinks she should be getting the same amount of publicity, same amount of endorsements and all that stuff. But
Mm.
people aren't watching her games. They're watching the Fever games. They're
Yes, they are actually.
18,000,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
18,000 to Reese's what 6,000? Like you can't compare them. You can't compare the numbers. So
And my thing with Angel Reese is that you gotta grind in the off season to improve your offensive game. Because let's say Angel Reese was averaging somewhere like 15, 16 points a game, giving you a double double every game consistently, maybe getting 20s here and there. She could come in some kind of argument as a somewhat rival, you know? But
no, for
now
sure.
Caitlin Clark has passed you, like lapped you heavy, you know what I mean? She's
Yeah.
in the MVP conversation. You're not even close to that, you know what I mean? And people
Facts.
said something interesting. I listened to some podcasts, some shows, and they said it was something like this. Obviously, Isaiah's greater, right? Sorry, Jordan is greater, but these guys hated each other, bruh. Like it
Yeah.
was deep hate. And for me, I wasn't there to know about it. But okay, any thoughts about this rivalry, man? What were your like? You know what I mean? Do you
I
think
feel
can compare
like
or no?
it's there could be you can make an argument for comparison, but
Mm,
like back in the day, these guys would not hang out with each other outside of anything. Like if you were on a separate team, you didn't
Right.
hang out. You hung out with your teammates, if that, or whatever. Like, like
Mm.
Wade calling up LeBron or Chris Paul calling up LeBron, like, oh, let's go do this, let's go do. None of that actually ever happened in the 90s and
Wow.
80s. These guys legitimately didn't like each other. They respected each other, but when it
Right.
came down to business, like, yo, I'm gonna kill you on the court, right? So as much as Zeke says he doesn't hate Jordan, but I think the argument that you have is the resentfulness, right? The big deal of Isaiah being left off the dream team. He
Right.
blames Jordan for that. But
Wow.
Isaiah didn't have a good relationship with a lot of the guys on the dream team. So yes, you can focus it all on Jordan because Jordan was, I guess, outspoken about it because of the bad boy Pistons. But Scotty
Right.
hated him. Barkley didn't really like him. Like
Wow.
Magic and Bird were like for Isaiah to be on the dream team, but because they played in the '80s with him, right? So they
Right.
had more of a relationship. But like most of those guys didn't like Isaiah because of his attitude. So, but yeah, I can see
Mm.
a little bit of a comparison for sure.
Yeah, because you know what it is about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? It's clearly personal on Angel's side. You know how
100%.
we all make the jokes like Jordan and he took it personal?
Yeah.
Angel Reese literally took it personal. And
Like
I'm like,
legit, yeah.
whoa. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, I don't know, man. I like Angel Reese as a person. I just want her to be better at basketball. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
Caitlin
Yeah.
Clark, she's taking it to the moon. I'm happy for her. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But Caitlin Clark needs a real rival, like somebody who's gonna, like an
Yeah.
on-court rap. I think that'd be cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
That,
Because you don't see that a lot, right? So
exactly.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But somebody we do see a lot is our boy. And when I say our boy, it's not just my boys. It's both of our boys. Talking about Anthony Edwards went
Yeah.
off for 30 yesterday, man, versus the damn Oklahoma City Thunder. And people were already, I'm gonna keep it a bean. People were already preparing the funeral
Yeah.
for the Timberwolves. People were already saying R.I.P., rest in P, rest in piss, rest in
Yeah.
all whatever you want to call it. But to the surprise of even me, I'm just gonna keep it real. To the surprise of me, the Timberwolves came out with a lot of fire, a lot of heat, a lot of bravado, and absolutely wiped the floor with him. 143 to 101. And like the game was done way earlier than that.
Yeah.
Ant led the charge 30 points. He came out on fire, man.
Yeah.
Ant came out aggressive. He came out hard, no Diddy. And by the way, keep Diddy. We're not freeing Diddy. Facts.
Not really. Yeah.
What did you think of that performance? They cleaned their clock, dog. You think?
Yeah. They did. I might get a lot of hate for this one,
Go ahead.
but I'm a little. I want to say disappointed with Hank with the first two games. Like
Okay.
he's and I've defended him too over this, where he's like, I want to play every game as hard as
Mm,
I can. And if you make that statement like that, and then you come out and like get beat as bad as they did game one and game two,
yeah.
you can't like it almost seems like he can't back it up. But then you have game three where he comes out and he shines, right? So he
Yeah.
needs to stay that consistent. Like this isn't regular season no more. This is the conference
No.
finals, right? You went home last year at the conference finals. Are you gonna let it happen
Right.
again? Granted, there is still some learning, right? He doesn't have Cat this year. Um, I don't want to say he
Mm.
doesn't have a lot of help because what's his name is going off too.
Randall, yeah. Julius
Yes,
Randall.
Randall, thank you. Right, so he does have help, but being a young 23-year-old superstar, that
Right.
maturity level of playing playoff basketball game after game after game, that's what he needs to learn. And he's gonna have a couple years where this happens, where it's like up and down, up and down. But
Right.
when he gets like boom, 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 every game is a playoff game, that mentality, that's gonna
Right.
be scary. So I still hope the Wolves winning this series, but there's always hope. But
Yeah.
if he doesn't lead that team and come out like he did game three, there's it's over.
I 100% agree with you, dog, because it's not even a hot take you said, it's just facts. You're just spitting pure facts. Because think about it like this: your best player against a team like OKC has to have 30 points every game, or at least have monster numbers. Because look at game one, he was giving you 18 points. Julius Randle killed it in game one. Look at the score.
Yeah,
OKC, what the game was done in the second quarter, brother. And then you look at game two, another massacre. It was closer, but
yeah.
bruh, if you were watching the
But
game
still,
by the third quarter, it was done. It was over.
yeah,
Might as well tune out. What did Ant give you? Ant did
yeah,
pretty
32.
well, but Julius Randle only 6 points.
Yeah,
Gobert nothing. It was Jaden, but the way it happened was Ant wasn't doing well in the first three quarters. The fourth he did well.
I did
But
well.
what
Yeah,
what you have to do is you have to overcome a team like the Thunder. The Thunder are really good, man. They are really, really good basketball team. So what's happening is you have the Thunder who are playing with house money. They're up one game. You have Minnesota coming back home. It's going to be tough, man. And for me, what I need to see personally from Minnesota, I need to see Julius Randle, brother. Randle, you need another 25. I need 10 boards. I need more assists. I need some defense. Because if Randle is not there for the party, oh,
yeah,
because you know OKC is gonna come out stronger than this next game.
hundred
It's
percent.
people were saying sweep, people were saying gentleman sweep. My group chat was going wild. What are the keys? What are the keys for Minnesota for you, bro? Like, what do you need to see from them, bro? You know what I mean?
No, like you said, right? Everybody has to be on top of their game, and not just
Right,
individually statting, but like as a team. So more
right.
rebounds, get those rebounds, play better defense. Like it,
Hmm.
and it's hard to say that when sometimes if you over defend, you're gonna get the foul called. That's just if you sneeze
Yeah.
on SGA, right? So the frustration is for real
Yeah, it is.
frustration.
Yeah.
But you can't let up. You can't let up.
Yes.
So it's either try to frustrate SGA to make the other four guys beat you, even though if one of them steps up, they still can win. Like I'm not
Yes.
saying OKC is definitely not a bad team, by no means, but like make somebody else beat you, and like you may like I don't even want to let SGA get off for like a 45-point game or anything like that. Just be aggressive, stay aggressive, but at the same time play more togetherness because it looks like it's I don't
Hmm.
want to say more individual ball, but like Ant needs to
Right.
have his game, but then Randall needs to have his game, and then two or three other guys need to contribute more and not just let those two guys go off or whatever. Like it
So
needs to be
far,
more team. Yeah. Just like OKC.
I'm
OKC's team playing. Indiana Pacers,
yes,
team playing, right?
yes, yes. I think I'm gonna tell you this, bro. When you said, and I'm gonna take this back because last week you said the Pacers over the Knicks. I was a little hesitant with you, bro, but you saw something, man. You saw something I didn't see because the goddamn Pacers, man,
Yeah.
recreating Mr. Reggie Miller in the damn
That
90s.
was crazy.
Great.
Crazy.
So,
Yeah.
hilarious. Hilarious. I,
Yeah.
I didn't see it. You saw it, bruh. What do you think about the Halliburton led Pacers? And by the way, we're gonna talk about game three in a bit.
hmm
Absolutely washing the Knicks in overtime in game one and game two, spanking them, led by Pascal Siakam, which was so impressive to me, bruh.
Yeah.
What were
That
your
was
thoughts?
crazy.
Yeah, man. Let me know, bruh. Yeah.
Yeah. If we go for 39, yeah, that's insanity,
39. Yes,
right?
sir.
And that's gonna happen. Like Siakam's a good player. The Pacers are playing really good basketball. Um,
Mm,
and I don't want to say that the Knicks choked, but maybe they just didn't have enough at the end. But then
yeah.
Hallie's just pulling. Come on, that's there's no way you can draw up a play like that. That's just him scrambling, throwing up a three. There you go. Because that's when you say shooters bounce, that's exactly what
Yeah.
you're talking about. So, but like the Knicks aren't playing horrible; they're just not finishing the game, right?
Yes,
If
yes.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think they maybe win one or two. It goes
Right.
six, but I still think Indiana's going to take this.
You absolutely called it, brother, because that shot, when it went up and I was watching it, I'm like, and then it hit the rim. I'm like, okay, it's okay. They're cool. Brother, it fell in. I'm like,
Yeah,
yo, what the hell? And for me, at first, I thought it was a three. So I was like, oh, it's
yeah,
over. It's over. So dude does the choke sign, runs towards Reggie Miller, who's on the call, actually, who's actually
yeah,
calling the plays, and points at him. And I'm like, yo, this is a classic NBA moment. You have to tell your grandkids about it.
yeah,
But then, bro, I'm like, okay, the toe was on it. The toe was on the line. So I'm like, more basketball. In the back of my mind, I'm like, Pacers are gonna win this. This type of momentum,
yeah.
this type of energy. Oh man, I
But
knew that, and then obviously they won. You know what I mean?
yeah, but like for the Pacers, they have nothing to lose, right? Like them as a
Yes,
team, besides
yes.
Siakam, has anybody else gone to the finals or has anybody else gone deep into the playoffs? No, right?
No,
But
no.
Siakam had a great run with Kawhi in Toronto. So
Yes, he did.
he's secretly leading, being that second middleman like Scotty was with Chicago, being
Right.
that guy that the team goes to. Maybe he's not the superstar, but he's
Mm-hmm.
still a well-rounded player, and he's old. He's a little bit older, obviously, but he can
Mm-hmm.
be like the leader of the team, but
Yeah.
without being the star. So, and I think his for him, that's a great role because he doesn't need the spotlight. He can
Yeah.
quietly have big games, and then you know what, continue to play well for the rest of the games. So, but
This
yeah,
is something
Indiana's
that I heard that's interesting. When Draymond, your bestie, was on inside the NBA. By the way, like the stream, people. Appreciate y'all for sliding through. And I want to get y'all in the comments, get in the chat, talk to us, chat. When Siakam, no, sorry, when Draymond was on Inside the NBA with Charles, everybody, right? He said Julius Randle dominated him in the previous series, right? And the last time he got dominated like that in a series was versus Pascal Siakam while he was with the Raptors. Remember this?
mm,
Because they played the Golden State Warriors in the finals.
yeah,
Siakam, I looked up some of the stats. Siakam was balling in the finals.
yeah,
30-point games, 25-point games, contributing a lot. But the thing is, Siakam's personality is like quiet, low key, chill. Like he's not going to be super expressive. Like he's
yeah,
just a humble, chill guy,
mhm,
and he's okay with letting another guy lead the team, but he's gonna get buckets. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
hundred
So
percent,
when you have that, when you have somebody like Naismith who had a 20-point fourth quarter, he had six. He came in around 6 minute block and just got five threes in a row. It just when the Knicks were about to close it up, when
yeah,
you have Nimhard, when you have Alt McConnell, you're running 6, 7 guys deep in a rotation who can go off. They're
yeah,
playing with house money, man. And I'll say it like
yeah.
this: the game is currently going on right now. It's 16-15 Knicks Pacers. Ooh, they're playing in Indiana. Do you think Knicks pull off an upset in game three? Or do you think Pacers take it into overdrive, bro? What are your thoughts?
I think well, being Pacers at home, like I don't think
Yeah,
the Knicks like I want this series to go seven,
me
which is
too.
weird for me to say because I
Right.
like if both teams like look at the Pacers, they eliminated Cleveland, like which was surprising
Yeah.
I think for both of us, right? The Knicks eliminated
Gentlemen
Celtics.
sweep.
Yeah,
Gentlemen
which was
sweep.
crazy. Um, the Knicks
Yeah.
eliminated Celtics, but could you make the argument that it was because of Tatum's injury? you know,
Mm,
the Celtics just kind of like they self-destructed after that. So, but the
right,
Knicks were playing good anyways.
right.
Um, but yeah, I don't think if they don't win today, then yeah, it's over for the Knicks. There's no way they're gonna win another one with the
Mm,
momentum that the Pacers have right now.
right.
It makes no sense to me. So, but yeah, we'll see
Some
how we'll third quarter might be able to give you more insight.
I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Somebody who's really doing this thing in my mind, man, is this guy Rick Carlisle, the coach of the Pacers, man. He is doing his thing. He is cooking Tom Thibodeau, man, because Thibodeau had to change his rotation. I'm talking about the Knicks coach. He Tom Thibodeau is known for making his rotations go so long and not really putting in his bench guys, right?
Yeah,
And because of that, his starters get tired. You know what I
tired.
mean?
Yeah, yeah,
At the end of games, you see a Josh Hart get tired, not get a really important offensive board. You'll see Carl Anthony Towns shoot an air ball because he's tired. Players are gassed, man. But Rick
yeah,
Carlisle, what he loves to do, he'll easily play 10, sometimes even 11 guys in the playoffs, man. And you're like, what? Why is a random getting minutes? But he'll play them. He'll let
yeah,
his guys rest. And because he trusts his team, and he's been able to make the Pacers a well-rounded team. Keep in mind, this is the same dude that coached the 2011 Mavs that beat the Heat
yeah.
with peak LeBron, peak D Wade, peak Chris. This guy beat him.
Maybe this guy beat him. Yeah.
So it's
And
like,
who
bruh,
did he
like
have? He
it's a
had Dirk. He had
coaching.
Jason Terry.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he knows what he's
that was
doing
a
for sure.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
me, when I look at this series, man, I'm in agreement with you, bro. If the Knicks don't win this game convincingly, and when I say convincingly, I mean they got it can't be close. It has to be like a real like what Minnesota did. I think that was
Mm,
perfect for their confidence and their
yeah.
team. They really beat the hell out of the Thunder. I need to see something from the Knicks because I don't think this goes back to New York if they lose tonight, bro. I mean,
No. No.
yeah, it won't. Yeah, it won't go to New York.
No.
It'll end in four. You
Mm.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
four's
Which
the
is
fifth game. Go ahead.
yeah.
Mm.
No, like you said, like about the Knicks being tired. It happened last year too, where
Yes.
you're right.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
guys were exhausted at the end of the series. You can
Yes.
just tell, like there's no legs, it's like panting, like so running, not trusting your bench is huge, especially in the
Yeah.
playoffs. You need to have guys there that can give you minutes to get your starters to rest. And
Hmm.
if you can't do that, then there's no way you're winning. Like these guys
No.
can't. It's like, and don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
some of these guys aren't keeping up fitness. You know, it's summertime, all that stuff. So getting back
That's
into
not
it,
true.
the first half of the well, I guess the first quarter of the season, it's them getting back into shape. Like
Right.
it's ridiculous, right? So come playoff time, these guys can't play 40 minutes, right? Like
No.
LeBron at 40 is still playing what 36, 32 minutes, which is insane for
It
a
is
40-year
insane.
old.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be playing that, but he is.
You know you said
So
it.
it's crazy. So these young guys, like, there's no excuse for them to be tired, but with that intensity, it's an adrenaline dump that you do, and you just okay, by the fourth quarter, if you're still not fresh, like there's no way you're
Mm.
winning. There's no way you're winning. And then Indiana has that. So they're a fast team that can play, and they're like you said, they play deep. So that's why they're winning.
Man, they play so deep, and I you saw it before me because these Pacers they have energy in the fourth,
Yeah,
even overtime. They're playing very, very fresh. Halliburton is an underrated playmaker. He won't have a lot of points some games, but he'll give you 10 assists like it's nothing. And I think you got to watch out for this. As much as we like Brunson has become a turnover machine, man. Like he had 7 turnovers in game one. I think he had like five last game. Like, brother, they are targeting you. And what they do too, which is smart by the Pacers, they target him on defense, meaning you'll see Halliburton go to him. You'll see Naismith go at him. You'll
Yeah.
see Siakam literally go at him because they know that Brunson cannot steal. He's prone to make mistakes, and they're using him against his own thing.
Yeah.
But guess what? The second best player on the team, he's bad on defense too. It's like what? Like, oh, the Knicks and my thing is, Knicks fans were pretending like they won the championship after beating Boston. I'm like,
Boston.
cuz
Yeah.
you ain't even in the finals, man. My God. What the hell?
Yeah. Well, they finally got back to the conference finals after what, 2 decades, 3 decades of trying to get back. So they have to
Hey man,
celebrate something, I guess. You know.
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I'm a Miami Heat fan, man. We used to this. We used to going in conference finals, man. After Jimmy left, I don't know about all that,
Yeah,
but you know what? I can understand a Nick fan who's been a fan for a while, and then seeing their team finally do some positive.
yeah,
But brother, this could get very ugly extremely fast. Cause stealing 2 games away, that's impressive, bro. That's
yeah,
super impressive.
yeah.
You know?
I think like the Knicks, I think in the regular season had a winning
Mm.
record on the road. So it's
Yes, they
not
did.
right. It shouldn't be
They did.
too. I don't want to say too rough, but it is again. It's playoff basketball, and they have zero momentum, like zero
Yeah.
momentum. So it makes it even
Yes.
harder. Makes it even harder for them to win. So if they don't win tonight, in like you said, convincing fashion, I think it's over. I think it's over. So
Brother,
which just sucks.
I remember you told me, well, we were talking about it. Well, like, what's the reason that some teams play better on the road than at home? And you said it was something like maybe you feel less pressure. You feel more loose. You know what I mean? You're not as
Mhm,
pressured. And I understand that logic because you're right. The Knicks do have a better record away than at home, right?
mhm.
And I think I don't know what it is, but when they play in the Garden, it's not that much of a home court advantage as people perceive it to be. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I think that helped them versus Boston because they won the first 2 games in Boston. You know
yeah.
what I mean? They didn't win at home. They lost, I think, game 3. And I think if I'm not mistaken, game 5 or something like that. But when they won the series in Boston,
In
game
Boston.
6.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so they won in Boston. So they're more comfortable, ironically, when they're away. So we will see how that goes because when you're talking about these type of teams, it's really important that, at least for me, I would love to see a game 7 with these teams because
yeah,
Adam Silver would be pissed. He'll be mad if we get Pacers. Imagine that Pacers OKC, bro.
yeah. That's crazy, but it can
Insanity,
happen.
brother.
But no, like I think what you said, like playing at home, right? There's so much pressure from the fans, especially
Yes.
like if you're a well-known large market team like New York,
Hmm.
who has been struggling over the last couple of years, even not even go past 5 years. Like
Right.
there's so much hope that they have as a fan that they're so passionate about, and then all of a sudden, no, they get let down. They get let down. So as a player, you feel that
Hmm.
going into the stadium, right? You're like, okay, we got to win.
Yes.
You know, we want to have make the fans happy, all this stuff. So there's, I feel like nowadays there's more pressure playing at home than there
Yes.
was, back in the '80s, early 2000s, where your home team, like, there was nothing like playing in front of them because they gave
Yes.
you the energy instead of now where it's all social media based where they get crapped on from like Twitter monsters and keyboard warriors and stuff like that. So that pressure that's being added onto them for no reason
Hmm.
is it could be dealing with it like it sucks.
It's a fact. It's a fact. And it comes down to also, here's something kind of controversial, man. I feel like the modern day player is under a lot more pressure than old school players. So let me explain that again. Well, let me give you a stat, right? If you look at NBA MVPs, right, in recent years, right, most of them have actually been non-American. So let's take a quick look, and I'll tell you why this matters, and I'll bring it back together. Recently, it was SGA, right? Nikola Jokic last year, Embiid. We know how we feel about that.
Yeah.
Jokic, Giannis,
Yes.
and James Harden.
Mm,
So in the past, it looks like 7 years,
seven
right?
years. Yeah.
The MVP have been non-American. The last American was James Harden. And I think it's because these guys feel a different pressure to perform, not only in front of fans, but in social media. In the era of basketball that we're in, the pressure is super high. And as great as these players play, they sometimes underachieve. Like, think about the recent winners of championships. Maybe the Celtics, like fully American team, but you have a guy like Giannis who won recently with the Bucks, Jokic who won recently. I think SGA has a great shot this year.
This
You
year.
look at first team NBA, Giannis,
Yeah.
Jokic, SGA. It's damn near an international team, except for Tatum and Donovan Mitchell. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Think about second team NBA. You know what I mean? You have LeBron, Steph. This is a more American lineup, right? And
Yeah.
Edwards, all that. You're dealing with so much pressure for the modern player. It's crazy, man. Have you seen a run like this of amazing international players, or is this just has been so new, as a fan and all that, bro? What do you think, bro?
I think they're exposed more than they were before because like in the
Mm,
90s, even in the like late 80s, there were
right.
international players. They were just not marketed because they were thought of as soft, right? Take an
Mm,
example of Tony Kukoc. Tony Kukoc was the number one player in Europe during
wow.
the 92 Olympics. Like they said he was the next Jordan. So that's why Chicago went out and tried to get him. And
Right.
obviously they got him, but he stayed in Europe for like what 5 years before he came to Chicago, right? And then
Mm,
when he came to Chicago, the man is like what 6'9", 6'10". I can't remember how tall he was, but he was
right.
lanky, but he was considered soft compared to NBA standards, right? For a guy
Right.
his size, he should have been more physical, but he was more finesse because that was the European way to play, and it still is. I think it's more about
Yeah, I
finesse.
agree
That's why
too.
you see these guys not play as hard defense, right? Luca
Yeah.
is prime example. It's all offense, no
Yes, it
defense,
is. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think the international because there was like Sabonis played for Portland center. He was
Mm,
European, like I can't remember Stojakovic from Sacramento. Like there was a lot of European stars, but because they weren't marketable,
right.
they
Right.
didn't get the attention. There's no social media back then, right? You had to wait. Like we waited for Inside the NBA to get the week highlights, right?
Right.
To
Right.
see it. There was nothing at your fingertips that you can go on your phone. So I think there was
Mm,
plenty of great European players back in the day. They just weren't marketable, which is why a lot of people don't even know there was how many Europeans were in the game. Yeah,
mm.
Yeah, Phaedra.
I remember watching some highlights of Kings versus Lakers. Apparently, that was a real beef back in the day.
Oh man, what year was it? I think it was the second or third championship of the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq era.
Right.
Like
Right.
Sacramento. Like in all fairness, Sacramento got robbed. They got robbed because the calls were outrageous, and because the league knew that
David
they had
Stern made the call. David Stern was like, "Bruh, we got to make them win, dog."
yeah
They did the
yeah
call.
like you have Kobe and Shaq on the same team. It's the Los Angeles Lakers, the dynasty, right? Like a franchise,
Right.
one of your biggest franchises. Then you have the Sacramento team that was put together, but they gelled so well. You had um, Vladdy, you had Chris Webber, you had Mike Baby. Who else
Mm,
was on that team? You had some good, solid players that played as a team, and they should have won, but the calls were just they, it almost looked rigged, to be honest with you. If you watch some of the games, the last two games, oh,
Right.
horrible, horrible. But you know, c'est la vie, as they say in French.
Hey, y'all get in the chat. I learned about so what I did, bro. The Sacramento Kings have a new coach called Doug Christie,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this
Played at Toronto.
guy apparently got in a beef with people in the. So we're gonna watch this slightly, man. Fair use. Y'all watch this. So I'm gonna put the audio
And what
on,
a
bro.
rivalry it is. And there's
Look.
Shaq. Gets the flannel PJ look. He's in. Who's going to tell him it's not? Here comes the
By the way, y'all smash that like button, man. Show us some support. We appreciate y'all for being here. We give y'all a preview. We're giving y'all the content. But I learned about Doug Christie recently because I had to Google. I'm like, who is this MF for coaching the Kings? This is him, bro. Let's watch.
Yeah.
Let's watch the content.
excitement. Oh, look at this. Rick Fox elbowing Doug Christie. Christie gets up, and look what happens. Oh, Fox pushes Christie, and Christie punches him in the face.
Let's get
And
it.
this is the preseason. Need I remind you? Obviously, the heated
Preseason.
feelings carrying over from the postseason a year ago. We need to see another look. Do-over right now. Rick Fox getting in the face,
Look.
elbowing Christie. Christie wastes no time getting up, flipping the ball even at Fox, and then Fox pushes Christie, and Christie pushes Fox right there in the face. Guess what happens to those two? They'd be gone, but everyone would get into the mad Knicks. Christie, Fox would resume their fight in the tunnel. Like,
In the tunnel.
that's what happened. And then everyone gets involved. I mean, the entire Kings bench comes out to join this mess. And look who's there. Do you notice as soon as Shaquille gets involved, everyone sort of backs away? Watch his PJs. Yeah, watch his toe. Nobody step on his toe. At least you know he's not going to kick anybody. Look at Vlade putting up his fist with Shaq. An incredible scene again. And look, there it is. The Kings bench empty. What about the Lakers bench? Still on the floor looking puzzled.
Sorry as fuck, man. Y'all gotta join. Y'all gotta help your boy, man. What's going on? Y'all chilling in the bench. They done cleared the bench, bro. Let's go.
Return to booze, of course.
Which is crazy.
The fight motivates the Kings. They just rip it in as they put it in. Hedo Turkle with a layup, and then Vlade Divac having his way.
Hey, just Stojakovic, like those three great European players on that team.
Keon.
What'd you say, brother?
I said they have three great European players. They have Vlade Divac, Peja Stojakovic, and what's the other? Turkalud.
Turkoglu,
Granted, they
yeah.
weren't. Yeah.
I remember him.
So
Look at Kobe. Crazy. But you're absolutely right, brother. I searched it up, bro. And this Doug Christie, bro, apparently his wifey came into the mix, man. They were scrapping in the he's the new Sacramento coach, by the way. He was getting gully with it, man. So this Sacramento team was serious, man. And what you're talking about, bro, these Europeans have been in the game for a while, but it seems like they're dominating the league right now. Giannis, I count him like as international,
yeah,
Greek and obviously Nigerian. But you look at a guy like SGA, Canadian, man, second Canadian to win MVP. We might complain about his flopping, but dude has a crazy mid range.
yeah,
Luca is super finesse. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Jokic, finesse, even though he's massive, very finesse player. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So this rise of international superstars, and think about it, next year, who do you think is going to win MVP? It's going to be between Jokic and SGA again. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like
Could
the same
very well be.
cycle.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's like the rise of the international player is huge, man. And I like it. I think it's cool. You know, me, I'm happy that a Canadian won it recently. But we got to talk about something really key, man. And I know I'm going to get you. I'm going to rise you
get me
up.
going.
You know
You're
what I
gonna get
mean?
me going.
I got to get you going. Jordan's longtime agent, David Falk, was on record saying that if Jordan was to hop on team to team, he would add 10, 15 titles. Ooh. He said LeBron, he likes LeBron, but he doesn't think LeBron is really like that. Oof. I got to get your points, brother. You know what I'm finna say, but I want to get you to get the first crack at it, bro.
No, I haven't even actually read the article or heard about the article. Um,
Right.
but I don't think it would be true. Like if Jordan team hopped, like
Mm,
guys do today, it just wasn't in them to do that. They didn't want to compete with each like alongside each other. They wanted to compete against each other, right? A different
right.
mentality. It was like I'm gonna win, but I'm gonna beat you instead of joining you in order to win. So the
Right.
mentality, and that's where the killer mentality is just. And I've always said that like LeBron doesn't have that killer gene, right? As fantastic as he is, as many records as he's broken. I think he recently broke another record, eh?
Yeah. So
The
some.
most air balls, the most air ball free throws I think he got in NBA
Whoa,
history.
whoa, chill, chill, chill. Whoa, 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 whoa,
Oh, that was the straight. That was the straight,
whoa.
right? Sorry,
Okay,
no.
my God,
But
my God.
but yeah, like I don't think in his era, maybe like if you put Jordan in now, one, he wouldn't be the same person. Like
Of
because
course
the
not.
game has evolved, I don't think he would have that killer mentality where he's like, I want to dominate you and I'm gonna like beat you to the ground type of thing. He wouldn't have that
Right.
mentality. He would have the mentality of like, hey, let's win together so that way we all win. We all get our money and it is what it is. But less of a
I'm gonna be
business back
right
then.
back. If you can talk to the people for, if you can talk to the people for a little bit, I'll be right,
Yeah,
right
yeah.
back with him.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. You guys can clown me all you want. I'm not a LeBron hater per se. Like BJ says, I'm more of a critic. So I just had to throw that airball stat in there because I know how LeBronites love their stats about LeBron. So, but no, as I don't think Jordan would have won 15 titles or 16 titles. That's just, let's be honest, it's outrageous. Even if he was facing like plumbers and gas station attendants, as you guys would say, um, it's just there's just no way. Nobody. He was as dominant as he was, as dominant as Chicago was. There's just no way he's winning that many titles if he hop teams. No, it makes no sense to me. And that's like
I'm gonna do.
that's my goat. So I'm just saying.
I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna show y'all something. This is the direct quote. I found it. Falk settles the GOAT debate. Probably, Falk said. He was saying this at a conference again. Mm. During delivering the quote of the day. I really like LeBron, he said. See, when when a Jordan guy says that, I know the disrespect is coming. It's coming. It is what it is. But I think if Jordan had cherry picked what teams he wanted to be on and two other superstars, he would have won 15 championships. Now,
Yeah,
here's my argument and here's my point, bro. People underestimate and really not you. I'm gonna give you credit. You don't really downplay the other guys. But people who are Jordan fans in the GOAT debate, they really downplay Jordan's support team, bro. They really downplay them a lot to the point where this quote is so disrespectful to someone like Pippen.
yeah,
Give you an example. Let's say Scottie Pippen, right, decided to leave Chicago. I didn't come up with this argument. I heard this argument. Let's say Scottie Pippen, right, decided to leave Chicago after the first championship. Let's say he wanted his bag, he wanted his money because he had like a horrible contract, and he went to somewhere like Portland. Do you think Jordan would win all those rings? Or would he have like one or two? Let's say Dennis Rodman stayed with the damn Pistons, right? And he
mhm,
didn't come to Chicago. Let's say Kukoc stayed in Europe. Like what we're doing, I think, in the game now is disrespecting these other great players that helped Jordan win.
yeah.
Like, think about it, man. There's so many guys. Rob, I forgot his name. The Rob guy who was in Cleveland who joined Jordan on the
Harper,
second run. Yeah,
Ron
Ron
Harper.
Harper, my bad. Yeah. Great defensive guys. These are guys that helped him win. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And I'm thinking, bruh, Like we just gonna disrespect these guys. Steve
Yeah.
Kerr. If Steve Kerr don't make some shots, does Jordan really win these rings? Like, yes, LeBron had help, but think about it like this. Let me give y'all a scenario. Let's say LeBron stays in Cleveland most of all his career, right? How many rings does LeBron have at this point? One, maybe two.
I
I
don't like,
look at it
and
like
that's where I think I differ with
talk
that.
to
I
me.
think if he would have stayed in Cleveland and been
Right.
able to attract somebody to come play with him in Cleveland, I
Yeah.
think a core would have been established there, and so it could have given him, 4 to 5 championships in Cleveland. But the
For
thing
real?
was, is that yeah,
You
man,
sure?
like
Okay.
again, I'm not a LeBron hater. Just like you said, I'm a critic. So
Yeah,
like
you're
I
critic.
respect
You are
LeBron
a
for the
critic. I
player
give you
that
that
he
credit.
is. Like phenomenal player. You can't. There's no way you arguing the fact that LeBron is trash. No, that's just ridiculousness. LeBron
Right.
is a great player. He like as much as I say he doesn't help his teammates get better.
Right.
I mean like Jordan made his teammates better because of the mentality that he has. LeBron was like, okay, well, if you're not going to play good, I'm just going to trade you, or I'm going to go to a separate team. So that's where that statement comes from. Me saying LeBron doesn't
Okay.
make his teammates better. He is the team. When he went to Cleveland, they were no team. He even his rookie year, he was averaging what 26 points
Yeah,
in
it was
Cleveland.
running it. Yeah. Something crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
got
Insane.
playoffs. They got the finals. All that
Hmm.
stuff. So, but as soon as he leaves, that team just it drops. So to
Yeah.
me, that's what I mean by not making his teammates better. When Jordan left, Chicago lost 2 more games than they did with him on it. That's because the rest of the team had that mentality that this is the standard of where we play. Yeah, Jordan's gone. Okay, it sucks because that's our leading scorer. But then Scotty took
Hmm.
over, led the Bulls in every stat possible. But he
Right.
like that's what I said. He was the silent leader of that team. If any of the other players had an issue, they went to Scotty. They didn't go to MJ. They went to Scotty. Scotty dealt with it, right? So when
Okay.
you say like if Scotty left Jordan, I don't think Jordan would have won consecutive titles. I think it would have taken him 2 or 3 years. Maybe he doesn't retire and go play baseball, or doesn't retire the
Right.
second
Right.
time, right? So he has he would still win, but he wouldn't have as many titles, consecutive titles, I guess you can say, because he would have to develop the guys that he has. As we're now, again, LeBron tries to attract people to come play with him. Look at this last free agency last year. Nobody came
Right.
to LA. Nobody wanted to
They
play
didn't
with
want
him.
to come to LA. They didn't want to come
No.
to LA. They were gone. They were. That's why the Luca trade was so huge, bro. Because
Yeah.
that trade was having LeBron with a superstar. Even AD last year, he was asking for
Yeah.
them to get somebody because AD didn't want to play center no more. He wanted to go to his natural power forward position,
Yeah.
and I think they were having trouble getting guys. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get your argument. That makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
You know, my thing is
But
when I look at the Bulls, Chicago, Jordan, I'm not gonna deny what MJ did. I recognize that, bro. I show my respect. But I recognize that Jordan had a lot of help too, man. Cause we saw him without help, man, in the Wizards, bro. It was tough. It was hard. Bro, we saw him without help before Scotty came.
yeah.
You know, Boston,
Yeah.
Detroit, always on his ass. Scotty
And
come,
that's the thing, right? He was
consistent
he
winner.
was
You know?
individual. He was an individual player that all he cared
Mhm.
about was scoring. So
Yeah,
it
that's
it
what
takes a
happened.
little bit of that. Once Scotty came, once like uh, John Paxson, like Bill Cartwright was the center for the first three-peat of Chicago.
Mhm.
He was the old school guy. He was the OG. So he
Right,
helped that team realize, listen, Jordan's a scorer. He's gonna
right.
score regardless. The rest of us have to be able to back him up. So
Right.
overall, they had like, I don't want to say the perfect amount of role players for that team that
Mm,
knew and understood their roles, and then they just played. They elevated their play as a team, right? John
right.
Paxson, yeah, John Paxson. What's his? Craig Hodges, the 3 point specialist that won the 3 point contest. B.J.
Right.
Armstrong, which was a true point guard, right? To complement Jordan's scoring. Because again,
Right.
nowadays it's positionless basketball. Back in the day,
Right.
you had your point guard that facilitated everything, ran the plays, and then Craig Hodges was just sitting at the three like Kerr did before after him in the second
Right.
three-peat, right? If you look at those teams, you can literally just pick. Okay, this is the original. This is the one they substituted him with. So like Craig
Yeah.
Hodges was the original. Steve Kerr was the second.
Yeah.
So
That's a
it's
fact.
funny. So you
Yeah.
can't underplay the fact that yes, Jordan didn't have all-star superstars as help, right? But he had good, solid players that helped elevate the team under Jordan's leadership, if I guess you want to say, or
I,
mentality, I guess would be a better word.
I always look at it like this, man. Me, I'm not saying I'm a Jordan critic, you know. I'm just somebody who tries to give a different perspective on the LeBron Jordan debate, and I'm an advocate for my guy. I'm not saying this to dismiss Jordan, but bruh, if Jordan didn't have somebody like a Phil Jackson who made a whole offense for the dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If he
100%.
didn't have all the guys you just mentioned, if those guys decided to leave or test out free agency, because back in the day, the free agency wasn't like this, bro. The money was
No,
not there. You couldn't just go to another team and get the same bag or even a bigger bag. You know, when you're playing on a super elite mainstream hot team like the Chicago Bulls in the 90s, you don't even think about leaving. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Even when you're getting screwed over with your pay, you're like, hey, I'm going to stay for the chips.
yeah,
But now in the player empowerment era, people are willing to move. And I looked at the moving thing hurting this guy the most, who I'm a big fan of. Just a side comment, Kevin
KD.
Durant. The player empowerment era, I think, is gonna hurt a guy like Kevin Durant because he's a fantastic, great player, but people are gonna see him as a team hopper. You went to
Yeah,
Brooklyn. You went to Phoenix. There's rumors he might go to Houston. Like, you know what I'm saying? What do you
yeah.
think? What do you think about the
Oh,
player empowerment era before we close out the pod, brother? You know what I mean? Because
so like for
LeBron kind
me,
of made it. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Created.
LeBron started it, and I think that needed to happen. Um, did it need to
Yeah.
happen to the point of where it is now? I don't think so. But at the same time, these guys are bringing in billions of dollars in revenue, so yes, they should get paid, right?
Right.
But at the same time, to go as far as to demand a trade because you're unhappy is a little ridiculous to me. So like KD, unfortunately, as a phenomenal player as he is, as a scorer that he
Mm.
will always be known as a snake because I don't like this team.
Yeah.
It's not me. Let me go back. Let me go to another team. So it
Oof.
hops until he gets comfortable. But is he ever gonna get comfortable? You know what I mean? So
Facts.
it's like it's it's one of those things that yes, it needed to happen because like you
Right.
said, like when Scotty got his deal, it was horrendous deal.
Right.
But he needed the money. He needed the money to take care of his family, right? So he
Mm.
took that deal knowing it was a long-term deal and he probably was going to lose money in the end, which is exactly what happened. And then
Right.
that's why he left and went to Portland. I'm like,
Right.
it wasn't, I want to say it wasn't about the money, but it was. He felt like he should have been able to renegotiate his contract in order to get more money because Chicago was the team. So
Yes.
LeBron helped that. So now, now these guys are getting like Devin Booker. Devin Booker loves to chit chat, saying he's mama mentality, bro. You haven't done anything. So these
He
guys are
hasn't
getting
done shit.
paid. Hasn't done shit. They're
Yeah,
getting paid on what you think is gonna happen instead of what they've done. So they should be able to
right,
renegotiate if they go, playoffs. You bring the your 15th seed team to the playoffs, okay, you
right.
should get a bonus. You go to the second round, another bonus. You go to the conference finals, okay, bigger bonus. You win a championship, okay, renegotiate the contract. So those are the
Right.
steps that they should have gone with the player empowerment instead of just being like, you're paying me before I even step in to this into the league.
Mm.
Look at Zion Williams. Zion
Oh
Williams
no, don't
was
remind me, bro.
insanity,
Insane.
insanity in
Insane.
high school.
So much money.
Yeah, look at Ben Simmons. Who? Like
Bro.
it's like, but yet he's
So
still getting
bad.
paid. Still
Yes,
getting
he
paid,
is.
right?
Yeah.
But then you look at players like KG from Boston. How long has he's still getting paid his contract out from Boston, and he hasn't played in like a decade. So if
It's a
that player,
fact.
but he brought a championship to Boston. He revitalized that franchise after the
Yes, he
'80s,
did.
like right. So yes, he deserved that contract. He made it huge in Boston again. So and then when Ray
Right.
Allen came and Paul Pierce and those guys, but like that player empowerment, that's where it should be. They should be able to
Right.
negotiate or get bonuses from what they've accomplished, not what they may accomplish. Like these young guys are getting. It's ridiculous.
I'm gonna say something about actually the contract. Because SGA, if I'm not mistaken, he's eligible for a 380 million super max deal. Not this year, but the year after.
Hmm.
Because of he just won MVP recently, right? And he's been
Yeah,
first team All NBA for the past two, I think, 3 years. So he's eligible for a crazy. And for me personally, just to make the league balanced, I want him to stay in OKC. I want him to
yeah,
stay as a face of that franchise because that makes the league more interesting. I don't want all my superstars in Boston or LA or New York. Let's have some parity in the league. I kind of like that. And again,
yeah.
these guys are making so much money these days. You have them being lazy. This dude should have been the face of the NBA. It's not even supposed to
Honest.
be Ant, but
Yeah,
Ant just grabbed it. That's what
yeah,
I like about Ant Edwards. He grabbed it, bro. But when you
yeah.
have somebody who's rich, spoiled, and pampered like Zion, dog, I hate seeing that. I hate seeing a man who has all that potential and doesn't work on it or release it. But then you have a guy like this who's like, I'm going all out. I like
Hmm.
that shit, man. Any
And he's
final
still
thoughts
getting,
before we
and
wrap
he's
it up?
still getting paid, right? He got what, a 250
Yeah, he
million
got a
dollar
good deal.
contract,
Yeah,
and
he
then
got a
he's
good
still
deal.
playing like what's his name, Stephen A.
Mm,
Smith. As much as I'm not a fan of Stephen A. Smith because
right.
sometimes he says outlandish things,
Of
like
course. He's crazy.
um, right?
He's
But he
stupid
said
as
it.
fuck.
He's like, yeah. So he said like he's playing like he's broke. Like he's playing because he
Yes.
loves to play. He loves to compete, and
Yes.
it's a good thing. Like I agree with you as SGA getting incentives to stay in OKC. That's what teams
Yes.
should be doing, right? So
Right.
that player empowerment, that's part of that. Is hey, if you do this, you're getting this. If you do this, you're getting this much more. So
Right.
incentivizing the players to stay in a franchise that may not be, LA or New York or Boston. It's these I don't want to say lower end franchises, but like
Right.
Minnesota, when KG came into Minnesota, Minnesota had a pretty decent team. They had who else was there at
Yeah.
the time?
Think
Um,
Towns was there. A few other
mhm,
guys were there. It was all right. They were doing
yeah,
good. You
they
know.
were doing good, right? But it is what it is now. What they
Mm,
if they incentivize Ant to stay in Minnesota and build a good team around him, then
right.
that's what makes the league exciting. You have these
Yes.
smaller franchises that are doing well, like Indiana. Like people are going to notice after this year, Indiana, whether they win or not. People are like,
Right.
damn, Indiana's fun to watch. So they get a
Right.
boost in attendance. They get a boost in televised games. Like that's
Right.
all good for the league, which is good for the players because they're getting it. They should be getting incentivized for that.
I remember, brother, like I looked it up, and Chicago was not really a good team or a known team before Jordan, bro. Like
No.
they were like a mess. They were like nobody really cared about them. Like they weren't one of the core teams. They weren't like the Sixers with all that
Yep.
history. They weren't
Uh,
the Lakers. They weren't the Knicks with like Walt Frazier. Like
uh,
Chicago was a bummy team. Like nobody like cared about them. Them guys like Chicago currently is a bum team. But you
yeah.
know what I mean? They weren't nothing. And I look at it like this. I like seeing the Pacers get competitive. And
Yeah.
maybe the ratings aren't amazing, but I like seeing them hoop for serious games. I like
Yeah.
seeing Minnesota in the mix, man. Like when's the last time Minnesota was really in the mix? I think with
Yeah.
Garnett was the last time. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
I love seeing this, and the Pelicans could have had it until fat ass kept on eating. But you know what I mean? It's like you know what I mean? Like what are we doing, bruh?
Yeah.
I like OKC being competitive. I like that because it makes it
Yeah.
like less predictable, less boring, and
Exactly.
that's the essence of basketball. Just good ball players in different
Yeah.
areas. And guess what? Luka Doncic, he was doing this thing in Dallas, but he's also eligible for that super max. You know what I mean? But Nico Harrison was like, "You getting too fat? Get the hell out of here." But at the same time, you're like, I like seeing small markets. I like it, bro.
Yeah.
I really like it.
No,
You know what I
it's
mean?
it's great for the league, right? It shows how
Yes.
competitive the league can be instead of just putting all your eggs in one basket, as they say. Like putting this, it's just it gives the smaller teams, the smaller franchises, a little bit of like hope that they can bring some revenue that they normally
Yeah,
wouldn't get, right? So being competitive with a good team, a solid team, it's exciting for fans to watch. So it's
absolutely.
good. Yeah.
Hey man, I love it, man. And if y'all are paying tune and keeping tabs, Pacers are up 48-35 versus the Knicks. It's almost halftime, man. I appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all, man. Unc, El Jefe, Jay in the building. Appreciate y'all more than you know. Smash that like button on the way out. Feel free to share, comment, subscribe, and everything in between, man. We appreciate y'all. It's been Unc and Few Hoops, and we out.
All right.
Deuces.
Peace.